Hearts2Hearts' debut was huge. 408,000 albums sold in just their first week. The biggest girl group debut in Hanto history. But if you looked a little closer at actual reactions, people were calling Hearts2Hearts' debut bland and forgettable. Fast forward to today, Hearts2Hearts has become one of the most praised rookie groups in K-pop. So how did this happen? The answer isn't as obvious as you'd think. Looking strictly at the numbers, Hearts2Hearts' debut was a commercial success. But there's one caveat to using first week album sales as a true sign of a successful debut. Those 408,000 sales represent an existing fan base, and in this case, SM Entertainment's existing fan base. The truth is, you can't even dream of pulling those kinds of first week sales unless you're backed by one of the top 4 K-pop agencies, YG, HYBE, SM, or JYP. And that's because all of these agencies have long established the reputation for debuting successful groups. So naturally, when one of them announces a new group, fans of that agency sprint to get a first look. And that's exactly what happened with Hearts2Hearts. SM announced that they would debut their next girl group at SM Town Live, an event where all of their artists come together and perform. There really isn't a better place to announce a debut. Everyone in attendance was the target audience for Hearts2Hearts, and this definitely played a big role in Hearts2Hearts' record album sales. So we know their debut album was a commercial success. But as I mentioned, the public's reaction was quite the opposite. In fact, the main theme I found through my research was people just felt very underwhelmed. People were comparing everything about Hearts2Hearts' debut to previous SM Entertainment debuts like Red Velvet, FX, aespa, saying that the previous concepts had been so bold, but for Hearts2Hearts' debut song, The Chase, it just seemed very half-assed. For the record, this is not my stance on The Chase, but this is what I saw in a lot of the initial reactions. Taking a closer look at Hearts2Hearts' debut song, I think I can kind of see where some people are coming from, especially compared to aespa's debut 5 years before. aespa's debut for Black Mamba was bold. Not only were they introducing a new sci-fi aesthetic, but they were simultaneously introducing their virtual avatars and a whole bunch of other lore. Naturally, their only option was to be bold. And for that, their debut received a lot of praise, but also a lot of backlash. Hearts2Hearts, on the other hand, didn't really come out swinging. Their concept photos were dreamy, soft, and nostalgic, but there was nothing that immediately made you think, whoa, this is a really different concept. And it showed in the reactions. This sentiment showed in the chart performance of The Chase as well. The song failed to enter the Melon Top 100 until 6 days after its release. And when it did enter, it charted at number 100, the very end of the chart. For some context, Kiki, Starship's rookie girl group, released their first song, I Do Me, on the same day as The Chase, but entered the Melon Top 100 immediately after release at number 88. So, to sum it up, the chart behavior and public sentiment surrounding Hearts2Hearts' debut didn't really match up to their monstrous album sales. And as I mentioned, that's mainly due to the fact that the people behind those sales were people who were already fans of SM, so they didn't need to hear a song to know that they wanted to support the group. But even though Hearts2Hearts didn't debut with an insane smash hit that took over South Korea, the debut was still objectively solid. The production of the song itself was ethereal and airy. The vocals were soft but also powerful at the same time, and when the dance practice for The Chase was released a few days later, people were quick to notice all of the members' sharp movements, clean lines, and most of all, their synchronization. One part of the choreography even went viral online in the following weeks. People loved the way that member Ian did this move. And this trend helped Hearts2Hearts gain more recognition during this period. So this was Hearts2Hearts' starting point. Maybe it wasn't the viral hit that SM was envisioning, but at the same time, SM didn't take any big risks, and instead opted for the safe route. In hindsight, this may have been one of the best decisions that they made. And let's talk about why. Following their debut in February, Hearts2Hearts went on to release Style, Pretty Please, and their mini album Focus. In Korea, Style and Focus each charted relatively well on Melon and Circle charts, with each song entering the Melon Top 100 quickly, but neither ended up charting within the top 10. At this point, discourse amongst K-pop fans online framed Hearts2Hearts as a rookie group that had good songs, but lacked a strong identity and global traction. Considering SM's new 3.0 strategy that they announced in 2023, where they stated that they'd focus more on global audiences, the slow global traction was probably not ideal, especially considering HYBE has been pushing groups into the Western market faster than anyone else. Still, there's a case to be made that Hearts2Hearts' quieter debut actually worked in their favor. K-pop debuts have increasingly become a competition over who can go the most viral. Quartus debuted with Go in August of 2025 and spread across the internet on the strength of their dance challenge. Eyelid's Magnetic did the same thing a year earlier. Both songs became immediate massive hits, and both were about as far from a quiet debut as you can get. On the surface, that looks like exactly what any company would want, and a lot of the time, it is. But going viral that quickly brings a wave of attention a rookie group hasn't necessarily had time to prepare for. That amount of spotlight invites scrutiny, and as we've seen for a lot of these instantly viral groups, there are constant controversies surrounding them. Hearts2Hearts, by comparison, has stayed almost entirely clear of major controversy even until now. Some of that is definitely the members being careful, but staying out of that major spotlight carried its own advantage. Hearts2Hearts was quietly getting really good. The dance practices kept circulating and people were starting to fall for the members' personalities as well. By the end of the year, that steady work had turned into 9 Rookie Awards, more than any other act that debuted in 2025. Whether the quiet debut was the plan all along, I genuinely can't say. Maybe they expected the chase to hit much harder and it just didn't. Either way, the position that Hearts2Hearts was in by the end of the year was a very good one. They had a warm, loyal audience and proven commercial value at home. And then everything changed. Rude was the big risk that they hadn't taken yet. From the very first listen, it doesn't sound like anything Hearts2Hearts has put out before. This time, the domestic response was quick. Rude entered the Melon Top 100 at number 78, and in just 2 days, it had climbed all the way to number 10. That's the kind of fast, explosive success that the group hadn't experienced yet. But the moment that really took off was Stella's all-English spoken section, which I'm sure probably like 99% of you guys have heard. It's entirely in English, delivered in this exaggerated Valley Girl persona. It's very easy to follow along, easy to repeat, even if you don't speak English fluently. And it was done tastefully enough, at least in my opinion. It went viral in South Korea, and from there, it did exactly what a repeatable English hook does. It unlocked a ton of awareness in the US and globally. This definitely was not an accident. Remember that SM 3.0 strategy from 2023? Where SM set its goal on becoming a global entertainment company focused on fans and shareholders. They're deliberately targeting US audiences. And what seals this idea even more is about a month after Rude was released, Hearts2Hearts held 2 showcases in the US, one in LA and one in New York, and both sold out. Which brings me back to my earlier point about the group quietly getting good. Because all of that persistence and focus on quality, it paid off here. When Rude blew up, the new fans it brought in didn't just listen to Rude, they went and discovered the rest of the discography. And since Hearts2Hearts had spent the past year putting out quality songs, dance practices, content, there was a full catalog sitting there waiting for new fans. So this made the Rude explosion so much more fruitful than a normal viral hit. And the clearest kind of example of this is The Chase surpassing 100 million streams on Spotify in March, right while Rude was blowing up. It was the first song in their discography to ever hit that number, and it happened to be a song from their debut, over a year old. With an expanded fan base and all the attention Rude brought in, Hearts2Hearts' whole trajectory has shifted, and you can see it in the numbers. Take Lemon Tang, for example, their most recent release after Rude. It posted the highest first-day sales of their entire career, surpassing even The Chase. Their TikTok and YouTube followers and views have climbed. You can see a clear spike in March while Rude was going viral. The members are also getting a lot more love and recognition, especially Stella in the US and Carmen in Indonesia. Search interest in the group is also up in the US. They've now got over 8 million monthly listeners on Spotify, so the momentum is very real. And given the SM 3.0 strategy, it's safe to assume that there will be more strong pushes into the US and the global market from here. So how did Hearts2Hearts go from a debut people were calling bland and forgettable to one of the most praised rookie groups in K-pop? The answer is that not much changed at all. It was the same group with the same attention to detail that they'd always had. The quiet debut was never a stumble the group spent a year recovering from. That year of steady, careful work is the reason that Rude landed as hard as it did. So the interesting part is what they do with all this momentum now. More groups are chasing that same global audience, and the competition will only get tougher. What do you think? Is Hearts2Hearts going to become the next globally renowned girl group? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching. Bye.